Spirit Talkers is brought to you by Southwest Trading Company. Southwest Trading Company is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma at 1306 East 11th Street. Southwest Trading Company is an indigenous-owned business. They have a lot of items like jewelry, blankets, clothing, art, home decor, collectibles, and so much more. Go follow and like their Facebook page to keep up with all events at the store and where they may be setting up. And once again, that is Southwest Trading Company, located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1306 East 11th Street. Let them know Spirit Talkers sent you. This podcast is brought to you by Native Co. Bead and Supply, a native-owned and operated craft supply store, founded to give native artists a way to craft and sustain their creative minds in helping everyone create indigenously. You can shop online at nativecobeadsupply.com or in store at 520 West 12th Street, Ada, Oklahoma, and let them know Spirit Talkers sent you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
What's up, guys?
Spirit Talkers are back in the house.
Yup.
The hizzy. Hope y'all been liking the episodes. We just did Alabama. Go check that one out. Alaska, our last one. Go check that one out. Send us stories if you're in Alabama, Alaska. We'll be looking forward to reading them on here, or if you have any vids or anything, send them our way.
Yep, that's true.
And today's episode will be covering a little bit about Arizona.
That's right. The hottest place in the world is Arizona. No.
Yep. The Arizona Cardinals.
God. Don't they have a baseball team over there too?
The Diamondbacks. Yeah. Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like this Arizona. You know, again, I know there's going to be 1,000 people going to comment. Why didn't you cover this one? Why didn't you cover that one? We're just going to go over just a few of these, you know, just to kind of talk about, have fun with this, you know. If you guys know more, send it in to us, you know, and stuff like that. So
yeah, a little bit later we'll go over somebody who was supposed to send us stuff, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And that will remain a mystery until we get to the cryptids. Until then, y'all can ponder about who it may be.
So it might be you sitting there listening right now. God. But anyway, well, one of the first things we got over here on Arizona, they call it the Jerome Grand Hotel in Jerome, Arizona. The hotel dates back in 1926 and sits on a high ridge in the Vista Valley. It features a Spanish mission style architect and was reportedly set in a former hospital called United Verde Hospital. According to the hotel's official website, it is the largest national historic landmark in Jerome and is 1 mile high, offering spectacular views. 1930, when it was operated as a hospital, it was written up the most modern and well-equipped hospital in Arizona. After the hospital closed in 1950, the building stood abandoned for 44 years. The place was purchased by a family in 1994. They began restoration. When the location was used as a hospital, nearly 9,000 people died there, which may be part of the reason for it being haunted. Witnesses have reported the sounds of coughing, labored breathing, and voices coming from empty rooms. Some have even smelt flowers, cigar smoke, dusk, whiskey coming from the empty rooms as well. The ghost of 4 or 5-year-old children has been also spotted at the hotel on the 3rd floor, sometimes laughing or crying. Other eerie occurrences included televisions being unplugged, shampoo bottles rolling across the floor or flying across the room, shadow figures, and apparitions of 2 women, one wearing a nurse's outfit and the other a white gown.
Wow.
There's a lot of stories about this place. Again, they say this is a super active place. A couple I guess there's people on YouTube that's gone in there, shot video, and they've caught things, and they've posted them on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. I haven't seen any of those, but that's what I was told, that there's a lot of stuff on this place, and it's just super active. And if you ever been to Arizona, anywhere in Arizona, again, they've got stories all over the place, because Arizona was one of those places, Wild West, and you had a lot of gold miners, go there and try to find gold, and people went to find oil. But the other thing, though, you'll hear from the tribes that are in that area. They got some wicked stuff, wicked stories of canyons, and they even got mesas where there's supposed to be like big snakes on top of them. I'm telling you, Arizona's got thousands of places to investigate. So you guys in Arizona, send us a ticket over there. We want to come down and visit you guys. So
yeah, probably the person that owes us stuff. He'll be named soon.
Yeah,
get us a ticket.
I'll let you read the next one.
Hotel Monte Vista in Flagstaff, Arizona. Dating back to 1927, Hotel Monte Vista is rumored to be haunted by several ghosts, including a phantom bellboy and a woman in red. Guests have reported encountering cold spots, flickering lights, and feeling an unseen presence.
Again, this is another super haunted place. People even report when they go in there, they get sick. So again, this is a very active place, and I don't know if any ghost, like any of those ghost shows have been there, but again, I know that Flagstaff area, they've got a lot of stories of different things in the area. They got a railroad station that goes through there that's super haunted. They got several other things that's just amazing. If I get a chance to go down that way, I'd love to, go around looking around in that area. The next one we wanted to talk about was the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone, Arizona. Again, you guys probably have heard of this. It's been on several ghost shows, but known as one of the most haunted places in the Wild, Wild West. The Birdcage Theater in Tombstone is said to be haunted by the spirits of former patrons and performers. Visitors have reported hearing phantoms, music, voices, and witnessing ghostly apparitions. Now, Tombstone is that, where you had those 2 families fight in that area. They made that movie Tombstone out of it, and this is that famous place.
Oh, okay.
So, again, there was a lot of gun battles in that little town. They say a lot of those places are super haunted. And they have one bar there. They say the devil shows up.
Really?
And when he shows up, you can either make a deal with him or, put somebody's name on the list, if you know what I mean, when he shows up. So, again, it's a high price is what I've been told, if you do the second part. But they say guarantee he's going to show up at that bar. And they usually say right after midnight. So again, Tombstone area is very active. They also have a couple of other new facilities in Tombstone that is supposedly super haunted. They have that famous cemetery there in Tombstone where you see that famous picture of that cemetery, but you see a man, half of a man outside that cemetery grave spot. It's a famous picture. You can pull it up, but that's the place. They say that whole town is haunted like that. And of course that cemetery, a lot of people in that a lot of those stories of those gunfights, that's where they were buried. I forget the name of those two families, but I'm sure everybody knows who those two families are. So
I was gonna say we should make a deal. No,
yeah, you got a few names I'm gonna put on there.
I almost forgot what I was gonna say because you're talking about that cemetery, but no, you're talking about the devil. I was like, well, yeah, we know the time.
Yep. I'd love to go. I'd tell you what. I'd love to go. And
well, it reminds me of that story too of I believe it was it Canada when those guys were at the bar, and then it was the devil there.
Yeah, he showed up.
Yeah,
well dressed.
Yeah, well dressed.
Had gloves on.
Yeah,
and so he kept pulling money out like that, buying, knowing everybody's business too.
Yeah,
telling off on everybody. I said, "You over there." Dog.
That reminded me of that. Just seeing the devil, and then I'll have to look that picture up. The picture you're talking about in the cemetery. It's a famous one?
Yeah, it's a famous one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it. He's like this, and it's a grave, and it's about this part, much of him, sticking out of that grave.
Whoa.
He's got a Old West hat on, got a mustache, those old school mustaches. I guess they call them handlebar mustaches.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, you can tell he's real. I mean, you can pick out all his features on that. So anyway, if you get a chance, look that picture up.
I might get scared.
God, so might see yourself in there. God, dang it. No. But I'll let you read the next one.
We got Mystery Castle in Phoenix, Arizona, built by Boyce Luther Gully for his daughter in the 1930s. Mystery Castle is said to be haunted by Gully's spirit. Visitors have reported strange sounds, shadowy figures, and feelings of unease while exploring the castle. Just the castle in general is like scary.
I know it probably, because it's not, it's out of the ordinary. You'd like think about Western architect instead of castles and stuff.
Medieval type of. Did you ever go into that? Oh man, what was it? Wasn't it like? It was over on like. No, it's tore down now, but I think it was a hotel.
Oh, Camelot.
Was that it?
Yeah,
Camelot. Yeah,
I was in there when it was operational. But afterwards, when they closed it down, people was talking about how haunted that place was.
Yeah,
it was super haunted. Even when they was tearing it down, there was reported of seeing people. They would stop destruction because they thought somebody was in there. They thought it was a homeless person, but in actuality, there wasn't nobody in there.
Wow.
But
Dang.
yeah, that place was supposed to be like the haunted place. I remember me and my folks, we came up here for something. I can't remember what, but we had stayed in that Camelot, and I remember that. And I was a young guy, but I didn't. The only thing I experienced was something bad in that but
Clogged up.
God, I didn't see anything or hear anything. But I was super young when I was, when we were there. But I remember how fancy the whole place looked.
Mm-hmm.
It was real, really detailed, and I thought it was pretty cool because it was a castle.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, dang, I'm in a real castle. But I remember going back to school and telling everybody I went to a castle. But anyway, yeah, I've been there, but I didn't experience any of those things that people said was in there. But I was probably so young, I probably just was too busy eating chips and watching TV and stuff. So
Yeah, having fun.
I know it, so I didn't. But yeah, answer your question. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that last year because I remember. I think it's like a Strange Oklahoma or something like that. It's a group, and it was a picture of that hotel like shut down, and it was like evening time. And they had a picture of it, and they said, "Anybody have any stories on this place?" It was supposed to be really haunted. And I looked at it, and I said, "Oh, I remember that place. That was the Camelot Hotel." And so I remember when me and my dad be here in Tulsa, and man, I forgot where it is, like exactly where it is, but we'd go down that ramp, and it would just be there, like this huge hotel. And I always wondered like what it was like inside, like if it was like a castle, or just curious about how it looked inside, because we never stayed there. We never had the chance to stay there or nothing. But yeah, I was always like curious when I was a kid, because it was still operating when I was a kid, and so I'd always just wonder what it was like in there, like if it was like really a castle, or just my imagination going about what it may look like inside. But they posted that picture, and they were just like, man, this has got to be like one of the most haunted places in Tulsa at the time when it was shut down. And people were just saying like, yeah, there's like certain things happened there, I guess, too, and it's just all this history around that area as well that went into that spot. And so, but yeah, I just want to ask you that, dang, last year, this castle reminded me of that, to ask you that from a year ago. If you ever been there when it was shut down, or if what you may have heard about it, or just something. Yeah. And I mean, even then it could be its own episode about, the castle, the Camelot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to do that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Cause again, I was a little guy when we stayed there, but not till after they had fully tore it down did you start hearing, or I didn't start hearing stories about that place till after they tore it down. But a couple of those guys that were on the construction, not construction, but the deconstruction of tearing it down, were native guys.
Oh, okay.
And they were saying, all these things that were going on when they were tearing it down. And they would constantly have to stop because they thought there was someone in there, and they would go and check, and, wouldn't nobody be in there. So, again, it was one of those things. I remember people saying that they would drive by and they would see someone in the window, or they would see someone on top of the building, which, I don't know, if I remember correctly, I never really, I don't know, I guess you'd have to be really looking at that, I guess. I don't know, but anyway, I just thought that was pretty cool. But what's standing there now? It's a QT and a Church's Chicken?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so
like I said, like I can't even remember like where exactly it is. I'll have to look it up, like Google it, like where was Camelot?
It's right over there by Peoria, right off of Peoria, right by that.
Is it?
Yeah,
I thought it was closer.
on Peoria and that.
It's okay. Like, is it 51st?
Yeah, I think
51st in Peoria.
Yeah,
because that whole place is remodeled too.
Yeah, there's that whole different stuff all around there now.
Okay, so. I'm remembering. Yeah,
it's where that QT is now.
That's you're right. QT.
Yeah. It was there, and
dang that place might be.
Yeah, you never know. That QT is pretty rugged in itself. So anyway, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it too, that place is huge. That hotel. So imagine if it shut down and we got to go in there. Man,
dang,
I'd leave Chris in there.
Yeah, I'd be asleep.
Chris would go sleep in one of the beds.
Be eating my chips too, boy. No. Our next place we wanted to go over was the Vulture Mine in Wickenburg, Arizona. Once a thriving gold mining town, Vulture Mine is now abandoned and is said to be haunted by the spirits of former miners. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied voices, footsteps, and seeing apparitions roaming the ground. Again, this is a place that you'll hear stories of those Tommy knockers.
Oh, yeah.
They got thousands of stories of those Tommy knockers in this area. I think that's pretty cool. Again, they think those things are, some believe that, they're, how you say it, like signs, telling you.
Guiding?
Yeah, guiding you in or out, or it's telling you to get out of there, it's warning you, that might cave in or, stuff like that. But they also say you hear old miners down there too, still working. You go down there and ain't nobody there.
Wow.
So, anyway, this place has a lot of stories like that. And dang, I'd like to be one of the first to go in there and do a full investigation.
I thought you were going to say you'd be the first to go in there and go to sleep.
God, no, that too. But they got to feed me good first. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you ever see that one video of it's this guy and he's going through a mining cave and he's by himself and he has a GoPro on and he's just walking it. And then it's kind of an older video, but when he's walking through there, at certain places he's hearing like whispering, like, and it sounds like it sounds like it's in the wind because there's wind that's coming through, and it sounds like it's coming with that wind. And so the first time he hears it, he's kind of like, "Oh, that's just the wind." But then he gets deeper into there, and then he starts hearing it more. But then he's like, there should be no wind down here. And then it's just all these echoes of talking down there. And all of a sudden, like, it hits for maybe a couple seconds, and he hears it. And then he stops, and he says, okay, that's not normal. I'm getting out of here. So he turns around, and he gets out of there. But that video is on... it was on, what's that guy? Nukes Talk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had that on there. But that was probably like before COVID hit. So it's an older video, but I'm sure you could find it if, I wouldn't even know the proper word to say it, but just watching that and then hearing this about the miners and I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'd probably just go to sleep, Chris.
No, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube itself about these different mines in different areas, and people, like you were saying, they hear voices or they'll hear, clinging to hammers or sound like someone's working down there. And I seen this one video where this guy was walking down one of these mines and he ran across kind of like a junction in there. And there was someone standing there, but he didn't see them. He he was just walking through there. He didn't see him with his eyes because he had that camera. He was looking around, and the camera picked it up, but he didn't see it. He said he didn't see it till he got home, and he was reviewing his stuff, and there it was. And it was someone just kind of sitting there, and they were all dusty looking.
Really?
So, but it was a real quick, shot because he was just walking through there. And he just kept saying, he kept hearing things, stuff like that. So I've seen all kinds of videos like that. And I think those are pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll have to check them out because you talking about hearing them working and then talking, miners and everything, and then the knocking maybe. I'll have to look more into.
There was one that they showed, like there was things like chains hanging down in one of them. And two of them were swaying, but the middle one was steel.
Really?
And again, they had like a dust devil pick up, and it started to chase him. That's one of the videos. And I said, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he took out of there, after seeing all that. I said, dang, I would too. Hey.
Christians leave me.
I know it. I'd be screaming when I got to the end, Russell, run.
Hurry up.
Nephew, get out of there. No. Run for your life. No. I'm shot. Run to the light. No.
How'd you get over so quick? How'd you outrun me?
God. When I'm scared, I'm like Scooby-Doo, boy. Be running. I'll let you read the next one.
So we got Yuma Territorial Prison in Yuma, Arizona, operating from 1876 to 1909. Yuma Territorial Prison is rumored to be haunted by the spirits of former inmates. Visitors have reported feeling cold spots, hearing phantom footsteps, and witnessing ghostly apparitions throughout the prison.
I think that would be pretty cool to go check that out. Anytime you go to those old prisons, especially where they've, had like violent things happen, all those prisons, they've all had something, happen. And, there's still spirits there, whether you think it's the residual or whether it's just those people too scared to go on, but a lot of those, like these old prisons, that's a place where you have to really watch out on these spirits because they were violent in life and they're going to be violent after.
Sure. Yeah.
So again, if you go to this place, you have to really be careful because you probably bring it home and it's going to terrorize you. So
yeah.
But again, I think this is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind going there and checking it out.
Is this one of the more famous ones that people go to?
Actually,
it sounds familiar.
There's no ghost shows that's gone there, but I mean they've got a lot of stories there, and I'm surprised one of those ghost shows hasn't gone. But again, I would like to be, if someone helped me out, I'd like to be the first crew to go in there and really document, something like that.
We want to be the first to sleep in all these places.
That's right. Oh, you gotta feed us good, guys.
Set that pallet up.
Get that bologna with those cheese puffs. Sure enough. No.
Smash those puffs on that sandwich.
Yeah. The next one we're going to talk about is Casey Moore's Oyster House in Tempe, Arizona. Built in 1910, Casey Moore's Oyster House is rumored to be haunted by the spirit of a former resident named Sarah. Visitors have reported encountering Sarah's ghost as well as experienced cold spots and unexplained noises. This one, I think Ghost Hunters or one of those ghost shows went in there and they captured, those chairs moving in that restaurant. And, sometimes you'll have a drink, whether it's a coffee cup or water cup, it'll just slide across the table onto the ground. So,
and that was this one.
Then that,
Oyster House?
yeah, and this one, that's this one. And so, again, I think that would be kind of cool to go check out. I'd like to see if, go there and it can, move something. I'd ask it to move the chair that I'm sitting in. But then it'd probably say, you'd hear, you too big. No.
You'd hear, trying to pull you.
I know, just really be straining.
Trying to pull us.
God. Dang, might make that ghost go, no. Strain too hard.
What was that?
God, did you hear that? No. Smell like eggs. That must be evil.
Ancient egg.
God.
And our last one here for Haunted Arizona, Oliver House in Bisbee. Is that right? Yep. Built in 1909, the Oliver House is said to be haunted by the spirits of former residents and guests. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied voices, seeing apparitions, and experiencing feelings of being watched. I hate that feeling, man.
Me too.
Being watched. I mean,
this place, I heard a lot of stories that there's something that'll come in there while you're showering.
Oh, man.
And I think we had a story like that, too. About something come and stand in front of somebody when they were showering.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I've been at different places and I've experienced that too. I think I see somebody and, boy, I really hurry up and wash my hair and try to hurry up and get out of there. But, yeah, this place, a lot of the guests will say that. You're in there showering and you'll see somebody and you think it's somebody that, is with you, but it's not, or you're there by yourself, but you'll still experience somebody coming in there.
Yeah.
And I think, man, that's
scary, man. Like
that is,
but terrifying.
But again, I think that would be pretty cool to check out. Check this place out. So all these places, I think they're pretty cool. But again, it's just a drop in the hat. I know there's canyons. There's all kind of things in Arizona that you can go visit that are super haunted in that area. Somebody
told me a long time ago, like, reminded me of showers, but they were taking a shower, and how you close your eyes and when you wash your hair and stuff because you don't want stuff in your eyes, and so then they said when they opened their eyes, and it was kind of, they shower in the dark, but it was kind of still light outside.
Dang, showering in the dark.
And so they had the lights off, but it was still light outside, like evening time, and it was about to get completely dark. But they said they were washing their hair and then closing their eyes while they did it. And then when they opened it, they said they had a see-through curtain, shower curtain. And then when they opened their eyes, there was a face right there.
Dang.
And they closed them again, and it was gone. And then I was just like, what? I was like, what did it look like? And they're like, I don't know. It was the steam and then the water running down, the driplets from on the curtain. Couldn't really tell, but it was just a head that was right there. And it was looking right at the person there. And I was just like, I was like, man, I don't want to ever close my eyes in the shower. Because that terrified. I was probably like maybe 14.
Damn.
So 13, 14. So I mean, just hearing that, I was just like, oh, dang. And I live on Yellow Horse. No,
God. Dang.
Oh, yeah, cryptids. Hold on. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, we're getting ready to... That was the ghost part of it. Now we're getting ready to cover the Arizona cryptids.
Yeah, we got... Yeah, so... Once again, if you have stories of those places we just talked about, or if you want to tell us more about other places, I mean, like Chris said, these are just, they're not all of them. It's just a lot of what we're bringing up and talking about, and then just maybe you didn't know about them. Maybe look more into it. Maybe go there if you're in those areas, and let us know your experience. Maybe that'd be pretty cool. Send us a vid or something. And we'll be moving on to the Arizona cryptids, as Chris said. And we're going to name that person that...
God. So he's got a twisted face right now. God, until he sends in that story, will his face straighten up? No.
So, good friend of mine, I told him, hey, we're doing Arizona Cryptids. And you might have heard him talk about it on his own podcast here and there. And then when he was on my podcast, he may have brought it up here and there. But I wanted to hear more about the Hoofer from Robin Jackson.
Yeah.
From Robin Jackson of Classic Wolf Podcast. Go check him out if you haven't. But he just never sent no info.
Man.
And he had about over 2 weeks to do it. So,
yeah.
Telling Chris, name him. I'm going to get his act together.
Dang that guy. Can't believe it. Can't believe it, boy.
Maybe he'll straighten up after this.
I don't know it. Quit making promises you ain't going to keep, guy. No. Hey.
But Rob, if you're listening, which you probably are, don't turn it down. Don't turn us off. Get your act together. No, just kidding. No, send us that stuff, man. We're still waiting on it. Still waiting. but yeah, we're gonna Arizona Cryptids right now.
Yeah, our first one, we wanted to kind of go over was their Arizona Bigfoot. They name it something. I can't pronounce it. How would you pronounce that?
It looks like Mogollon
monster, and they also refer to it as the Mogollon Rim Sasquatch because of the area. Again, they see him all over Arizona. He's different than your average Bigfoot because he's only like 7 feet tall, but he has red hair. I think it's because they have a lot of that we call it red dirt around there. I don't know if it's red dirt or dust or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That
desert.
Yeah, that desert has more of a red tint to it, so that's probably why he's red. But they say they see him all over Arizona. Mainly at night, which makes sense to me because it's a desert type area. It's super hot, so they'll say you'll see him at night.
Man, that's got to be hot for him. It's hot there.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he's got vests and shorts on. No. He cuts the rest of his hair. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just teasing. But no, they say, you'll see him all over the place, in the canyons, caves, in the desert, But most sightings will be at night for him. Mm-hmm. So.
Is he around the same height, I guess?
Well, they say he's about 7 feet tall.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
7 feet tall and red hair.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but they'll tell you he's all over the place over there. So,
wow.
Anyway, they say he doesn't really get close to people either. He's always in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
So he never gets close to you. So,
wow.
If you get close to him, then you must be doing something right, I guess. But they say he's always distance. So
far away from Rob.
God,
you don't do right.
Probably because he don't come through with what he's gonna say. No, God, dang it, boy.
Straighten up, Rob. Just kidding.
I'll let you do the next one.
We got the Chupacabra. The name itself is Spanish for goat sucker, which gives you a pretty good idea of what this creature is all about. Eyewitnesses describe it as a bipedal creature with reptilian or alien-like features, standing about 3 to 4 feet tall. It's said to be covered in coarse, spiky hair with a row of sharp spines running down its back.
Now in this area, a lot of people talk about this Chupacabra, and they always say he just goes after livestock, and he just sucks the blood out of that livestock. He's been known to, get cows, but he prefers goats and sheep.
Mm-hmm.
That's his. If you got a goat or a sheep, that's what he's gonna go after. But I know some people in some places, they talk about it looks more like a wild dog with real bad mange.
Yeah,
that's how they describe it in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he's kind of off in those kind of desert areas. He's also seen in Mexico, and so California, bits and pieces of California, they'll see him. So again, I don't know, but this is also something. They say he came from across the waters, to here.
Mm-hmm.
But then some say he was always been here. So I don't know.
I remember like growing up. You ever watch that movie? It's a show. It was called Beyond Bizarre. And they had all these different stories of cryptids and hauntings, and it was pretty cool. It was a pretty good show. It was on Sci-Fi Channel, and there was one part on there. I used to watch it as a kid. Like I was so into all this cryptid stuff when I was a kid, and just getting scared, and so there was one part where it was down in Mexico, and they're claiming it was the Chupacabra, and there was this whole town of people that were bothered by it one night. And so there was this camera crew there, and all these kids are running around, they're speaking their language, and everybody was going nuts there. And they were saying that it was a Chupacabra, and they were describing it as, this is different than this. And I've always wondered if that was another thing. So they were saying that thing had wings of a bat, like big red eyes, and skin like a alligator skin, and it was about the same height, like 4 to 5 feet tall. But they said it was in a tree, and I remember this as a kid, like just being terrified watching it. And I remember they said it was in the tree, and it flew down, and it was trying to pick up somebody when it was going to fly back up. And so as a kid, I was just like, oh man, that's terrifying. And I mean, even living in Yellow Horse, it's like dark and everything, so I was afraid to go out at night and stuff. But I remember hearing that, and they were saying it was the Chupacabra. But then years later, it's a lot of this stuff that they talk about. And so, but I remember on that show too, they were saying, could that be a government experiment gone wrong? Could it have been something that got loose? Or maybe it's something that's always been here and we don't know what it is. Because now, thinking about that, they're saying that was a Chupacabra. But I've seen drawings of this Chupacabra. And it's got the spines on the back. It does have the red eyes, the reptilian skin. And then there's also videos of goats that look like they've been bit. Almost like a vampire. Like, because this thing sucks the blood out.
Could it be Robin Jackson? Oh, no.
Rob, get your act together. Rob could have been telling us all this stuff.
God. Our next cryptid that I like this one. Again, this goes way back. It's the Thunderbird. Every tribe out there has Thunderbird stories, so again, there's a lot of stories about these beings, but in Arizona, the Thunderbird, according to legend, the Thunderbird is a colossal avian creature with a wingspan of up to 20 feet. That's bigger than any eagle or condor alive today, and is said to be powerful enough to create storms and lightning with just a flap of its wings. In many Native American cultures, the Thunderbird is seen as a sacred being, a messenger between the earthly realm and the spirit world. But the Thunderbird is not just a creature of myth and legend. There have been sightings of these giant birds throughout Arizona, particularly near the Grand Canyon and in the mountains around Flagstaff. One of the most famous accounts comes from the late 1800s when two cowboys near Tombstone claimed to have shot and killed a Thunderbird with a wingspan of over 20 feet. The story goes that these cowboys were out riding when they spotted the massive bird perched on a rocky outcropping. They took aim with their rifles and fired, bringing the creature down in a hail of feathers and blood. The man allegedly brought the Thunderbird back to Tombstone, where it was displayed in a local shop for all to see. Stories of giant birds have been circulating in Arizona for centuries, long before those cowboys ever took aim. The Apache, the Navajo, the Hopi, they all have their own Thunderbird legends passed down from generation to generation. So maybe these guys did shoot down a Thunderbird that day, or maybe they just got a little caught up. But either way, the Thunderbird continues to soar through Arizona skies. Again, in this area of Arizona, this one where they talked about how they shot it, they have a picture of it, and it looks more like a pterodactyl.
I was gonna say, is that?
And that's a famous picture.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's an old picture, but when you see this thing, it looks like a pterodactyl. Mm-hmm. But again, they say it was a Thunderbird. So again, everybody knows pterodactyls were around in the dinosaur time. So, maybe there's some that have survived. I don't know. So,
yeah.
Again, Arizona is vast, and has some desert areas in there that, something strange could definitely hide out in there. So, mm-hmm. You never know. I like this one, though. I think, man, that'd be pretty cool to go and check it out.
Yeah. I was gonna say when they was talking about that picture, that's the only one I can remember was that pterodactyl one. And I mean, there's claims to pterodactyls even still being around.
Yep.
And there's a few videos, but I mean, they're so high up and it's so blurry, but you kind of see the shape of a pterodactyl head. Mm-hmm. But I mean, who's to say if that is or could be a Thunderbird? So, I mean, and even though it's so high up, you could still see the wingspan of it and everything. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's interesting to hear. Is there any Thunderbird stories around here?
In Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, there are stories about that you'd have to visit with the Caddos and mm-hmm. the Kiowas, and I'm sure they got ancient stories now. Far as current stories, people have said that they've seen big winged creatures in what is that? Over there by Quartz Mountain area.
Oh, okay.
Down in that area, they've seen huge winged birds.
Dang.
So again, I don't know, again, that Quartz Mountain area is kind of like a secluded place, over in that area, and it's got, I don't know how you say, kind of mountainous area, mm-hmm. And it's got places for, something like that to hide, and there's old stories in that area seeing, big winged creatures. So mm-hmm. I think that would be pretty cool to go check out too. So
yeah,
we might just take a drive down there.
How far is that from here?
About 3 hours.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah. Siren of the Lakes. According to legend, the Mogollon monster mermaid is a half-human, half-fish creature that lurks in the depths of the region's waterways. Eyewitnesses describe it describe it as having the upper body of a beautiful woman with long flowing hair and mesmerizing eyes, but below the waist, the creature said to have a scaly serpentine tail, like something of a nightmare, like something out of a nightmare. But the Mogollon monster mermaid's not just a pretty face. This cryptid said to possess hypnotic powers, luring unsuspecting swimmers and boaters to their doom with its siren song. Some accounts even claim that the creature can shapeshift, taking on the appearance of a lost loved one or a tempting stranger, all the better to draw its prey into the murky depths. One of the earliest sightings of the Mogollon monster mermaid dates back to the 1950s, when a group of Boy Scouts claimed to have seen a strange half-human creature lurking in the waters of Black Canyon Lake. The boys described the creature as having a woman's face and torso, but with a long, scaly tail where its legs should have been. More recently, in 2012, a couple camping near Woods Canyon Lake reported hearing eerie siren-like vocalizations coming from the water late at night. They claimed the sounds were unlike anything they'd ever heard before, a haunting melody that seemed to call out to them from the depths.
Pretty spooky.
So it says region waterways. Is that just a system?
Yeah.
I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like a lake or anything?
Mm-mm.
It's their water system?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, so that's everywhere, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, like I said, Arizona's got a lot of stuff to look at. The other thing that they've got, all through Arizona that you'll hear a lot about is the UFOs, encounters in that area.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot of interaction with those alien encounters.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, there's a lot of places in Arizona that they say they'll see lights in the sky, or you'll hear some of these small communities talking about these men in gray come see you. They're tall and thin, and they got big old black eyes, and a lot of these little communities in that Arizona area, they'll talk about those kind of things. So I don't know,
Man, I mean, then the traditional stories too of those, even from back in the day. There was one where we were told from Purim, I think, when we had that powwow over there, and dang, I forgot her name, but she was a vendor. She listened to us, and she was saying, I got a story for you guys, but I'm kind of busy, and so we went back, and then later on, she gave us her story, and man, it was one where, because she's from out this way in Arizona, and she was saying, I heard this old story of like, this ship came down in a certain area, and people were wondering what it was and everything, and they were just kind of like, what is that? They would see it, but it would be gone. Finally, it came down, and I guess a few of them went out there, and she was saying this, and this is on the old episode too. Like it was her story that she told, but I mean, it's like terrifying to think about. But they said they went up there, and it was still on the ground. The lights are on; they're flashing different colors, and there was a giant, almost like plate-like thing. And the way it was described too was like if you take two plates and you stack them together, and you get that circle, and you get that top and bottom. And she said somebody went and touched it, and when they touched it, they just dissolved into nothing. And so she was telling that story, and then she said once that happened, everybody just ran out of there because they were just like, what just happened to that guy? And so she was saying that's a real story that was told to her from her people back in the day, and they were just told not to mess with them, touch them, mess with them, or nothing. Just let them be.
There was when I was looking this up and stuff, I know they have a lot of stories, and there was a movie that was just made recently, and I can't remember the name of the movie. I think you recommended it. and I can't think of the name of it, but basically they were out in this area, and this farmhouse, there was something in the clouds.
Nope.
Is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
Nope. Yeah.
And
Did you finally watch it?
yeah.
I'm telling you to watch it for 2 years.
You sent it to me, and I watched it, and I thought, man, that was a crazy movie, boy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember the name of it, but anyway, that was it. And when I was doing this and reading all those stories about, their encounters, I said, "Damn, it looks like that movie that I watched." So
yeah, that was a good one. I'm glad you finally watched it.
Yep.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm always looking for something to watch like that. So that was pretty cool. Like you said too, a lot of the tribes in this area too have those stories of things coming from the sky too, visiting them.
Mm-hmm.
And so all those tribes in that Arizona area, they all have stuff like that. So again, there's so many things that you can see and investigate in that Arizona area that I'd just love to go check it out. Other thing, when I was reading, all those stories and stuff, the thing that I also noticed, and I've seen this and I've heard this from different areas, they'll say they'll see lights in the sky, and after they see these lights in the sky, they'll see a Bigfoot, or they'll see a Chupacabra, or they will see, one of these other strange things.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts off with seeing like something in the sky, like a light, or it'll stay constant, it'll freeze up there, then it'll disappear, then they'll have interaction with some kind of entity.
I remember you talking about that.
And I think that's kind of interesting. I mean, I've heard that before from different areas, different locations, and different entities. And I've seen people talk about it on Facebook and on the internet, saying that these are alien type beings this is how they're choosing to show themselves as.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I start to think about that too.
Well, not to give too much away about something we did, but that happened to us, remember?
That is correct.
And you brought that up like later on, and it made sense to me because right after we saw whatever we saw in the sky, and I have it on my phone, I mean, it's kind of grainy, but you can still see it. Whatever it was in the sky flew over us, and right after that is when crazy stuff started happening with what we were looking for.
Yep.
And I don't know, that'll come out way later. We can't give too much about it, but I mean, from personal experience, like what Chris was talking about right there and there, it was just like, yeah, like that makes sense too. And it, like you were saying, like seeing all that and then the Bigfoot shows up or something shows up. Yeah. Right after you see these lights in the sky. That's crazy to think about. All
those stories I was reading on there, I just said, man, that's crazy, and it's like different entities that they see, but it'll start off with seeing things in the sky first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think, wow, maybe those things are choosing to show up like that. But some of these things, they're violent.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that these things are violent, these aliens?
Probably have to be. I mean, it makes it, I don't know,
because like Predator or something.
Yeah, and that too. I mean, you've seen Independence Day, the first one with Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum?
That's when those aliens took over the world? Or
yeah, they're trying
to.
But see, like, it's that little alien, and they put themselves in that big, giant thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know that those little aliens are inside of it until they cut them open, and they're like, oh, it's being controlled by this little guy or something. And so, I mean, they could just be almost like a, what do you call it? Like
Suit?
Well, maybe, or like a, dang, man, what do you call it? Like a hologram or something? Illusion? To make you see something you think you're seeing. Maybe they're just watching. Maybe we're on TV for them.
We're their entertainment.
Yeah, they're like, oh, let's put a Bigfoot down there. Let's see what these guys do.
Yeah.
Grab that popcorn.
Yeah. That pickled popcorn. Yeah. Because they're aliens.
Pass me the Louisiana sauce.
Yeah. Dang it.
No, but I mean that makes, like, when you told me that, I was just like, man, it's crazy to hear that. And it makes me want to go back to a lot of stuff of like, well, then again, if nobody's looking up the sky, they're not going to notice anything in the sky if they're looking in the woods and stuff. They won't pay attention. But for us, somebody saw it and they're like, what is that? And that's when we saw it. They're like, what is that in the sky? And it was crazy, dude. It was like, I don't know what it was. I can't explain it.
Yep. You're right. Man.
That happened. Yep. So what is everybody's thoughts on that? And if you go out future things, you're just looking around or something, maybe look up in the sky.
Yeah.
And then see if something happens after that, like near you or something.
If you guys got any more stories or know any other places or know any other cryptids that roam around Arizona, send it in to us, because we know there's a lot of stuff out there. So hopefully, we can get some more info.
Have you heard of anything like that happening, like with hauntings?
No, but I've heard it with water monsters too.
Have you? Yeah.
Because when they talk about that too with those siren things.
Oh yeah.
That someone saw lights in the sky first, and they saw that thing show up.
Wow.
And so, like I said, I don't know if it's because it's Arizona, they're relating everything to that first, and then seeing the other things next. I don't know, but
dang.
I just thought that was pretty curious to see them all talk about seeing lights in the sky first.
Yeah. Man, it's pretty scary, Chris.
I know.
We don't even know.
I know it.
And then, next time we go out or something, we'll have to pay attention to the sky. But yes, if anybody has any more stories, anything UFO related from Arizona, please let us know. And if you have any continuation about seeing something in the sky and then seeing any of these cryptids we talked about, and even more cryptids, Robin Jackson,
Yeah.
the Hoofer,
Dang.
all that info, and you're just keeping it to yourself.
God. Knowledge keeper over there. No.
Gatekeeper over
There
there.
you go. Gatekeeper.
but yeah, if you have anything, man, let us know. This is just not even all of them, not even everything from Arizona. Just things we thought about talking about.
Yep. Very interesting like that.
But Chris, let them know where to follow you.
You can follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube under Christopher Hunka Hill.
Follow him. Follow me at Russell Sun Eagle on Facebook, Okie Podcast, WrestleMust49 on Instagram. Follow us, Spirit Talkers, on Instagram, Spirit Talkers Podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Spirit Talkers Podcast, and then add us on Facebook, Spirit Talkers. Check out our merch shop. Go buy a shirt. Support the pod. Show coming up is October 19th, Pawnee, Oklahoma. Go check that out. Hang out with us. Bring a story. Bring your best story. Be giving out some prizes. Chris will be giving away some hats that he signed, his Raider hats. But come check us out. Come hang out. Tell a story. It's going to be a good one.
Yep.
It's going to be really fun. And I think that's it. So, till next time, everybody.
Smile.